Hello, welcome to week 1 of the Time for Change class. We'll go through the material here, so I hope you have your student manual available. The first page is just my letter to you, thanking you for including me on this journey, and I'll leave you to read that on your own. So we'll talk about what to expect during this class. This is a class that focuses on intermittent fasting, mindful eating, food quality, and physical exercise at a basic level. So we don't get too detailed or complicated here. So this is for individuals who are ready for a change and are not interested in micromanaging their food intake or detailing a very detailed health plan. Each class will begin with a 35 to 40-minute exercise class. This is just a strength and stretch class, so no cardio, and it's intended for anyone. So most of the time we'll be hitting the mat with our resistance bands. If the mat is not accessible to you, you can do all the exercises from a chair as well. Following that, we'll join together to discuss and share about our week, what you've discovered about yourself, some of the difficulties that you had, some of your wins, and of course, any questions you have. And then we'll take some time to learn about the topic for the week. So each week has a new topic. This week, we're going to talk about goal setting and forming new habits. Next week, we'll talk about intermittent fasting. Week 3 is mindful eating and planning our meals. Week 4 is choosing quality foods for you and your family. And the last week, we'll talk about choosing exercise that is perfect for your goals. And then we'll have a discussion around weight loss and health management as a holistic perspective. So following that, right at the end of our class, we'll set our action for the week. And you'll set your own action because only you know what you can do consistently. But I'll give you some suggestions, and this will be the action that you work on that week. In between classes, each day, or at least 90% of the time, you're going to focus on achieving your daily action that you had set for yourself. Each week, we will add to this new habit with an additional action. So my hope is that these become lifelong habits that just are ingrained in you and you can develop them, moving you closer to your goal. Suggestions for your daily journal. So each day you'll pull out your binder and you'll do a little self-reflection and some journaling. You can make this look however you want. This is your journey. But I suggest that you write down how your daily action is going. Write down your struggles. Don't forget to document some wins. I'd like you to consider your hunger level. So when you sit down for a meal opportunity, just ask yourself a simple question. How hungry am I on a scale of 1 to 10? You can write that in your journal or you can just take note of it. Document why you are eating. This is an interesting question because we don't often think about why we're eating. Sometimes you think it's just time to eat, but other times it's emotion related or sometimes obligation. Just think about why you're eating. And you can also write down what you're feeling around a meal, whether that be physical symptoms or emotional. So let me introduce myself a little bit, give you a chance to get to know me. My whole life, I've been interested in health and wellness. Even as a teenager, I was grabbing books from the library about fitness and diet. But that doesn't mean my journey has always been healthful. Even with all the information I collected, my lifestyle was very poor in health. And by the time I was in my 30s, I started to see some of the effects of that. I was very much an emotional eater, eating for powerlessness, for stress, or just to reward myself after a very hard day raising kids. And I would say that food and alcohol became something I turned to too often. And some of the issues that I was seeing as a result was that I was carrying extra weight. I don't know if you know that feeling of tucking in your pants, tucking your belly into your pants. I was starting to feel that. My sleep was very much affected. My self-image was affected, and I didn't always want my husband wrapping his arms around me because I didn't feel as pretty as I used to. And I had a health issue with gut imbalance. that was really starting to make me feel hopeless and discouraged. So despite my best efforts to change my eating habits, because I knew what I needed to do, I had the information, I couldn't quite get a handle on it. I found myself white knuckling it quite often, and finally I was feeling helpless and despair, and I turned to God. I prayed about the issue, and God heard me, and I truly believe He directed me to intermittent fasting. It's a journey I've been on now for 3 years, and it has taught me a lot about my body and how it works. And I've done a deep dive into intermittent fasting and the science of why it works. And it's been so life-changing and has offered me so much peace and hope in this situation that I truly just felt the need to pass it on to others and not hold it as my own secret. So that's my story. Now I'm hoping to hear a little about yours. And I know you're missing class today, so you could send me a little email just detailing a bit about your health journey. I would love to hear it if you're interested in sending that. So now we're going to take a moment to set our goal. So this is not necessarily a number. Often when health coaches ask you to set a goal, they're looking for a specific number. And that's not what we're talking about here. It's more like I want you to get a vision of what that ideal healthy you looks like. What are some of the details? Take a moment to think about it. Are you full of energy? Are you sleeping through the night? Do you throw on your jeans and not worry once about whether or not they'll button up correctly? Are you able to perform your daily activities with ease? Like getting down on the floor to wash the baseboards, or climbing the stairs, or going for a hike with your husband. And maybe you're hopping on the scale without fear because you know that you've been in a healthy maintenance weight for a long time now, and you believe you're going to stay there. Whatever it looks like, take a second, pause this video, and write it down. So in this class, we're learning habits that become lifelong habits, a way of living. This isn't a quick fix. Once you reach your goal weight, you stop doing it. These are habits that you believe you can bring into your life for the rest of your life. So you need to know why you're doing it. In order to make these hard changes, you have to have a good handle on your why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What is going to change in your life? What will that look like? Is it aging with as much independence as possible? Perhaps you saw your parents age in a way that was unhealthful, and that's motivating to you. Whatever it is, write down your powerful why right now. Okay, I want to address some of the truths that we have about diet and wellness. We all have them. I have them too. What are our truths? So some of these ideas do come from science, and maybe they are true. Some of them come from our very own experience, and maybe they're true to us. And some of them just might be things that you've heard time and time again, and so they feel true, but they might not be based on science at all. So some of mine that I observed were: breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We need several small meals throughout the day to keep our blood sugars balanced. I need to count macros or calories to stay slim. I need to join a gym and do regular hard workouts. Weight loss is a simple math equation of energy in needs to be less than energy out. There are good foods and there are bad foods. And I'm good when I eat good foods, and I'm bad when I eat bad foods. Take a moment, pause, and write down some of your truths. Similar to our truths are the shoulds that we tell ourselves constantly. What are some of the shoulds that you tell yourself all the time? Some of my shoulds are: I should be skipping dessert. I should have stopped eating when I was 80% full. I should be tracking. I should not have had second helpings. Pause for a moment. Write down some of the shoulds that you tell yourself regularly. So now that we've noted these things, my hope is that we can approach this class without our diet brain. Take your diet brain, set it aside. Let's keep an open mind while we try to avoid assuming what we need to do to achieve these goals. This course takes a bit of a different approach than many of the other diet programs. I would like to talk for a moment about tracking your progress. Are you a person who weighs themselves regularly, maybe daily, maybe weekly? Well, for the purposes of this class, I'm going to ask you to stop weighing yourself for at least 4 weeks. Put that scale away. Give it to your husband and tell him to lock it away somewhere. Do whatever you need to do not to be tempted to hop on the scale. My clients always have a reaction to this, and I'd be curious to hear what yours are. Feel free to send that in the email when you send me your introduction to yourself. And I have a lot of reasons for asking you to do this, but number one, I don't even want that number to distract you from focusing on achieving your daily actions. I know that this works. You're gonna have to trust me. So don't worry about the number on the scale, what it's doing for at least 4 weeks. You can hop on the scale today and write that number down. And then 4 weeks from now, set the date, you can step back on the scale. After the 4 weeks, there's many options for tracking your progress. If the scale is something that messes with your brain, you do not need to use it. But if you do choose to use it, a couple options. You can choose to do what I do, which is to weigh once a month just to make sure something crazy is not happening with my weight, and then tuck it away for another month. Or if you prefer to have more data, you can hop on the scale every day, track it in a chart, and take your weekly average. Our weight fluctuates depending on so very many things. And I don't want you to feel like the weight that you see on your scale in the morning is going to affect your whole day or how you approach your goals and how you approach your decision making through the day. So chart it every day and look at your weekly average. Obviously, we're hoping to see a trend down in weight if that's one of your goals, but that will give you enough information. There's some good apps for this. You could try Happy Scale, or if you're old-fashioned like I am, just write it into a chart. Another option for tracking your success is by taking measurements. Using a soft tape measure, you can mark your measurements into the chart that I've provided. This can feel very personal and very private, so you may choose to just do this by yourself in your bathroom. Maybe you get somebody that you trust to help you with this, and if you really need someone to come over, I can pop by your place and help you with these measurements. Photos. Don't take these in your underwear. You will want to show others when you've managed the success that I know is going to come. Put on something, maybe some tight pants, something like that, that can show off the changes, but is still modest enough to share with your neighbor. A pair of honesty pants. This is a pair of pants without a lot of stretch. They're going to tell you the truth if you're gaining a few pounds. They're a good way to track that you're staying on where you need to be. Okay, we're going to move into talking about habit changes. A lot of the information that I quote is from James Clear. He wrote a book called Atomic Habits, which I would recommend. It's very good. It isn't based around health and wellness. It's just talking about habit changes. James Clear writes that it's our daily decisions that place a vote on the person that we end up becoming. So just like earlier, you want to be able to visualize yourself having achieved the goals that you've set for yourself. Each day, your decisions are the votes towards becoming that person. There's another inspirational person who talks about change that I like to follow called Mimi Bouchard, and she talks about going one step further. Once you've got a vision of yourself, become that person. So start living like you've already achieved that goal. So whatever that looks like for you, but I love the idea of deciding that you're already the person who's achieved that goal and living that way. Decide on the type of person that you want to be, state it or write it down. I want to be a person who prioritizes my health. Now, prove it to yourself with your daily votes, those small choices that you make each day. James Clear says that even your language matters. Adopting the identity of becoming that person with your statements. So, for example, I'm a person who doesn't snack after dinner. James Clear has a really interesting perspective on habit loops. So, he says that to make lasting change, this means that you need to either bring in new habits that you can consistently achieve or break old habits that aren't serving us. And he talks about a habit as a loop, which begins with a cue, leading to a craving. Finally, you respond, and then you receive the reward, which is what develops the habit. So for example, after a long day of work, you flop onto the couch for some much needed chill time, and you turn on the TV. Ding, there's your cue. You start to crave a snack. You know dinner's just an hour away, but you're craving it. You hold on for as long as you can, but finally you cave and you respond. Snacks make you feel treated. Finally you can relax, turn off your brain, and you've received your reward. So to break a habit, we need to interrupt this cycle. For me, as I was learning how to intermittent fast, I needed to break the cue for my evening snacks. I needed to turn off the TV. So for a while, it was a book and a cup of tea or sparkling water in bed. And that helped me to break that loop. Take a moment to think about what habit you would like to break in your life related to health. What is the cue that is triggering this craving? And how can you interrupt that cycle? Hit pause and write that down now. I'd like to make a note here. Breaking a habit is uncomfortable. When I was learning how to intermittent fast, there was moments where I truly felt grief for my old lifestyle. There was nothing that could fill that space. My husband would recommend a cup of tea and a hot bath. I would feel anger towards that suggestion because what I needed was to feel grief. Feeling the grief will help you heal from it, and acknowledging that grief can help a lot as well. So writing it down, talking to a trusted friend, especially somebody maybe in the class who's going through the same sorts of things, can really help. And you have to know that distance makes it easier. It separates you from the habit that you used to have, and day by day, it becomes so easy that you look back and you barely recognize the person who fell into those old habits. Forming a new habit. James Clear has an excellent formula for this. He says that to form a new habit, we should first make it obvious. I think about putting your sneakers and your workout outfit on a chair beside the bed if you're hoping to get a workout in the morning. Make it attractive. So maybe having a workout buddy or a reward like a warm bath after your workout will make it attractive. Make it easy. So don't set the goal for a workout an hour a day, 6 days a week. Why not say that it's okay for you to just do a 15-minute YouTube video of a workout 3 days a week? Make it easy. Make it satisfying. So satisfying for me looks like checking off something on my to-do list. So maybe you put that 15-minute workout into your to-do list and you get to put a check mark there. Maybe you put a sticker on your calendar. Whatever it is, make it satisfying. Another suggestion that Clear makes is to use temptation bundling. You can hear about this concept all over the place right now because it really is brilliant. It just means that you're taking a habit that you do every day and you're adding the new habit onto that. So if it's your goal to get some more stretching into your day, maybe when you turn on your kettle for coffee or tea in the morning, you choose 3 stretches and you do them right then. Temptation bundling. So take a moment now to think about a habit that you would like to incorporate into your life. And maybe you write down how you can make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And maybe you can use the concept of temptation bundling as well. Finally, we are going to take some time to think about our daily action. This week, what is going to be your daily action? That one vote that you're going to make every day towards the person who's achieved their health goals. And I have a suggestion for you, but you can choose to ignore it if you like. Next week, we are going to talk about intermittent fasting. That is going to be the biggest principle towards achieving this goal. So I suggest you start this week. Try this. Your kitchen is closed after dinner. So maybe you have one last satisfying bite of something sweet, or maybe it's a cup of tea. Let that be your cue to say, now the kitchen is closed, and no matter what, I'm not going to eat another morsel of food or take in anything with a flavor profile or anything with sugar or calories until I'm ready to break my fast tomorrow. That's my suggestion for you. If you're already a person who doesn't snack in the evenings, you might choose something else, like delaying your breakfast and starting your day instead with a walk. Choosing to have breakfast when you feel true hunger, maybe an 8 or a 9 on your scale of 1 to 10. Or maybe you'd prefer just to think about avoiding snacks between your eating opportunities. So no coffee and donut in the morning. In the afternoon, skip that afternoon boost at 3 o'clock. Try to allow your blood sugars to come down, as they should, in between meals. Those are just some suggestions, so take a moment to think about the action that you believe you can truly achieve 9 out of 10 times this week. Now, set that statement. So you need a statement to go with your action. One that really helps to solidify it being your new identity. So for example, I'm a person who doesn't snack at night. Or I start my day with a walk. I eat breakfast when I'm hungry. Set your statement now. Remember this week to journal each day, your wins, your struggles, how you're doing with that action, how you feel around an eating opportunity. Maybe you write down your hunger levels. Hopefully you'll jot down your fast as well. I'd like you to get in the habit of recognizing how much time you allow yourself from the time your window closes after dinner to the time that it opens the next day. Thank you for joining me for week 1 of the Time for Change class. I'll see you next week.